Today I am making a wild rice waffle with pear sauce, and it's absolutely delicious. It's hearty, and you are going to think you are in a northern state, possibly in a cabin by a lake. It is hearty, it is delicious. It is made with the wild rice that they harvest in canoes mostly, and also with some fresh pears from the neighborhood. So, always as always, it's clean. So I want to thank you for joining me. Let's get started. And we are making some quick and easy pear sauce. So I'm just going to chop these 5 or 6 cups up, chop them small. I add some vanilla, a little bit of lemon for brightness, and some cinnamon and some nutmeg if you'd like. Okay. And we are going to add our vanilla. We're going to add about a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to eyeball that. We're going to stir it around, so don't worry. I'm going to add a pinch of salt. Salt sets off and contrasts the sweet. And then I have a lemon, and I'm just going to put a little bit of lemon in there because I always use lemon and vanilla together and it offsets some brightness. Okay, and now I'm going to cook this. I'm not going to add any water to it yet, just because it is going to release a lot of juice. If it needs to get moving in a second, it will get moving, but also I'm going to put in just a drop of nutmeg. Just a pinch. And those look about done. So I'm going to take that off, because that's pretty much done. It's chunky, it's rustic. I mean, you can turn it into a puree, but I don't want it to, it be any smaller than that. We are starting our wild rice waffles, and these waffles are beautiful. They do take a little time. They are different than boxed waffles. They are different than waffles you've had anywhere. A lot of waffles are out of white refined flour, which turns into a sugar in your body very fast. So if you put that with a syrup or a corn syrup or a high fructose fruit spread, you are going to have a glycemic index lift for a while. But what I try and do with all of my recipes here on Fiberlish is bring you better options. So our option is the Minnesota cultivated long grain wild rice waffles. And I've cooked the rice earlier, and that is right here. I've cooked that earlier. You can cook that in just a little bit of water with a drop of salt. But what we also do is we use whole wheat flour. We use a date paste that I made, and that is just soaked dates, soak them in water, and throw them into the blender. That adds kind of a caramely flavor, a vanilla flavor. We also do have my homemade vanilla. We're going to add a little bit, but also you can put in the fruit of your choice, 1/3 of a cup of the fruit of your choice. And since the recipe is from Minnesota, they are using those Michigan cherries, which I love. That's right in their neighborhood over there up north. So I have in my neighborhood pears from my brother's garden. So I cooked down some pears. I have a video of that. It's very easy. It's just vanilla and pears. You could add honey. You could add date syrup. You could add some more date paste to thicken it up, or maple syrup. When you start cooking with less processed things, your options are pretty much this, but they are more tasty than cooking from boxes. So we're going to start in. And with any recipe that includes the dry ingredients and wet ingredients, you mix the dry with the dry and the wet with the wet. What is unique about this recipe is I do have a blender here, a mixer here, where you can take the egg whites and you can put those in with some cream of tartar, and you can make a little bit of a whipped white. These pancakes are a little on the heavy side, which is what I love because they have the whole wheat flour and the rice with them and the date and the pear. So they're going to be a very hearty waffle or pancake. But if you want them lighter, you can add egg whites to your mixture instead of the egg whites into the batter, and that will give them a little bit of lift. So I'm going to do that step for you just because I want to. So that is what we're going to do, just so I can show you in case you don't do that. And you don't want to get any egg yolk in the egg whites, or there is a notorious problem that happens, and that is that your eggs won't ever, there's something in that yolk, get a new one. Your eggs won't puff up, your eggs won't get fluffy if there's anything in there. So try and grab anything you get out of there. That's why you look at your eggs first and get anything out that is in the egg, and of course any eggshells. So we're gonna just give this a blend and see if we can get it puffy without using this cream of tartar, but if we have to, we'll put in a 1/4 teaspoon. And that's a quick step. You don't want to, look, we have a couple peaks in there. You don't want to go past that. We're not making like a meringue. We're just getting it to where we've broken up the egg. So into our dry ingredient bowl, do you know I had a table made? I have a galley kitchen, and I had a table made to go between both sides of the galley. But at the end of the day, I just still love this setup. So I hope it's okay with you. Okay, so we're going to add first 1/2 cup of whole wheat flour and 1/2 cup of whole wheat pastry flour. Now, you could mix any flour, but this is whole wheat, this is high fiber, so I don't use any white flour at all, so I'm going for fiber in this. So I could go all whole wheat, but since I have the rice, the fiber from the dates, the fiber from the pear, the fiber from the nuts, and the fiber from this, we should have a waffle that has 6 to 8 grams of fiber in it per waffle, so that's exciting. Okay, and then we put in 2 teaspoons of baking powder. We put in 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. We put in 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We put in 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And the deal on ingredients, the reason why you do this is to give a little bit of lift if the flour's been sitting in the bag and you haven't sifted it. But also, when you're making a pancake or a cake or a muffin, you don't have the opportunity to mix everything. If you overmix it, things are going to get tough. You're going to develop the glutens. So what you want to do is get everything in its own bowl so it can just be combined and then put together for one whip around before it goes in the waffle iron or the pan for a pancake. Okay, now we're going to add our wet ingredients. So we have 1 1/4 cup of buttermilk. And remember, let everything get to room temperature. You don't want anything cold going in with anything hot. And then 2 tablespoons of date that I made earlier. And 1/3 cup of pear. And our 2 eggs. Our 1/4 cup of avocado oil. using heart healthy oils. You could use butter, or excuse me, you could use butter if you'd like. I don't use much butter. I'll use butter on top of a pancake, but I'm really not going to probably put it in the batter when oil is just as good. It smells delicious, and with the addition of walnuts on top of that, and some people add the walnuts in. You can add the walnuts wherever you'd like. So then we're going to add our cup of wild rice. Okay, and now comes the fun part. We're going to add the wet to the dry. And we're just going to lift this from the bottom and sort of get it starting to be incorporated. Now, if your day is humid, they may be extra gooey. If your day is dry out, you may have to add a little more buttermilk. So now we're going to add our puffy egg whites. And just put them in there in about a third clumps so you can lift them. And you just lift it and drop, lift it and drop, lift it and drop. And the goal, of course, is to incorporate air and puffiness. This is just like a cake, like a meringue cake or angel food cake. This is the exact step. Ready. This has been preheating. A waffle iron like this takes about 1/2 or 2/3 of a cup. This is the old school waffle iron. You can get the Belgian waffle iron. It's a little too thick for me, so I prefer the flatter one, which I was raised with. Now I have a 1/2 cup scoop, so I can pretty much be confident that that will work. But you spread it out. I had a waffle iron I ruined. I might put in a little bit more. I had a waffle iron I ruined by just having it always go over the side. So when you put the lid down, the lid is heavy, so that's going to press on it and move it all around, but you kind of want to get your first shape out. And the first one sometimes doesn't turn out right, so that was like 1/2 cup and 1 tablespoon. So we will watch this. And as you can see, steam is coming out, and when steam is coming out, obviously means it's cooking. So the water is coming out of it, and it's on its way to getting crispy. But if you pulled open the lid now, it would rip in half, and you'd have 2 halves of a waffle. I have put the lid back down and made that work, but you want to get till the steam is almost gone. Because that wild rice has water in it, because we cooked it, it has to let go of some of that steam and water as well. It's looking pretty good to me. There is our first waffle. You could also spray your waffle iron with some avocado oil or olive oil. Probably bring any too much of a flavor, but I do use avocado oil spray quite a bit. So I'm gonna give it just a shot, why not? It's your waffle, you can do what you want. Okay. See, do you see the difference that we did about another 1/2 cup and then another tablespoon? But do you see the difference that egg white makes? Now, they taste just as good when they're flat, and that's usually kind of how I made them. But once I started doing this step, and it's easy, it's an easy step. You can do it with a whisk. You don't need to get out a mixer like I did. I just wanted to show you. But down goes the lid. Another good one. I'm not in a cabin, but I could be. These waffles turned out absolutely beautiful. Clean ingredients, high fiber, non-GMO, no pesticides, clean fruit, just anything. And Beck, like I said, once you get some of these ingredients, making things is so much easier. And yes, they do take time, but everything takes time. So your body is worth the time is what I think. I'm going to put on some pears. So we've got the delicious homemade pears. You could use those pears on yogurt, just whatever. And then I'm going to take a bite of our lovely labors. Oh, you guys, this is beautiful. Absolutely a stunner. It is beautiful. This would be perfect on a brunch if someone wanted to man the waffle iron. The flavors are like nothing you've had. The whole wheat brings to the forefront toastiness and the warmth of the wild rice and the depth of the wild rice. There's really kind of nothing like it. So I hope you try it, and I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you like and subscribe. If you do, that's what makes it so I can bring other beautiful dishes to other high fiber dishes that are amazing for your body to YouTube. So thanks for joining me.